Oh,
Hello.
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 Hello. Setting
Hello.
notifications. All right.
Twitch is live, right? Not Discord.
Twitch is live right now. Yeah. So we can hop in the Discord. Do you want to hop in now?
Sure.
Hi. All right. Now we can't hear Chia for a second. Stage kaishi. Laid back. Japanese. Learning with video games. Stageを開始。はい。はい。
Hey. Okay, I
おはよ
was confused of what you were doing there, sir.
Yeah. Oh
For
yeah, I have
two
to type
seconds.
out the doobly doo. So yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Hey,
But
hi,
yeah,
hello.
the levels are the same on my
Konnichiwa.
recording thing, so we're good.
Oh, good.
Konnichiwa,
Okay. It
everyone.
sounded okay, right?
Yeah, it sounded okay. Hi. Hello, everyone. I like
Yeah,
seeing all
it
these
sounds
new
fun.
names that I have never seen before.
Yeah, it's exciting. I
It
love
is
this photo
exciting.
of a pupper.
Yeah, there's a pupper
I
photo.
don't
Oh, there is a
know.
pupper.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
it's a pupper.
adorable. Yeah, I love it. Hey, Wowza. Yeah. Hope everyone's doing well. For people in the
Yeah.
Discord, you can use the Laid Back Japanese channel as a chat, basically, during this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to just listen in silence and never be able to talk to any of us. So Laid
Here
Back
we
Japanese
had
channel.
the chat. Oh,
Yeah. Hope everyone's doing well. Here be the chat. あ、終わっ
yeah,
て
you
ない
had to read
の？
that out loud.
終わってない
Eh?
の？
What? No, no, that's not. No, 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 we're good.
we we
Oh
have
man,
problems. We say too many things in English with a Japanese like
English,
accent, like katakana English,
English.
English,
Yeah,
and it's
it
kind
hurts
of
me.
a problem.
It's really fun to do,
It
and I
is.
think actually kind of helps you get over
Mm,
that katakana hunch of, like the
yeah,
in
like
Japanese, there are English words that are just English, but in katakana version.
yeah. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them.
Like, how do you say California in Japanese, right?
California.
Exactly.
It's so difficult. But
California. Mm.
California. Bleh. Everyone, try to say it. Everyone who's listening, try to say it. California. California. It's so difficult.
California. Yeah. How do you say Connecticut again? I can't remember. Every time
コネチカット。
I forget.
コネチカット。
Connecticut. Yeah.
Mm, yeah. Connecticut. All my friends make
In
fun
your
of me because I say
Connecticut
it wrong.
accent.
Mm,
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
um, October started, and last year we did Inktober, and
Mm,
we had a blast with everyone's pictures and drawings and handwriting. So this year we're also doing one, but this time around we're doing it on grammar points based off of Native Shark's lessons and units. If you haven't seen it already, there's a channel for it in our Discord called Sharktober 2021. And these submissions, have you read them, Ty? They're
I've read
so
a
good.
couple. I've read a couple. I haven't read all of them yet, but they are really good.
It makes me lol a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like the stories are good, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're interesting stories. So that's exciting.
Mm. Yeah, that's really exciting. I'm glad to see, and like I see like a lot of faces who have been in the Discord for a while, and I think I've seen a couple of new ones too.
Mm.
And it's really nice to see just people participating in it. I need to start writing my
Yeah.
own sentences for this too.
はい。頑張ってください。
Ah. Oh wait, whoopsies, my camera's missing. All right. All right. When I minimize this by accident, it makes my camera go away. But yeah, there are, you know, having longer dialogues is super helpful to practice with.
Yeah,
Mm.
I think so. Well, speaking of learning Japanese, I don't know if
Mm.
we were speaking about that, but I think
Were
we
we?
were.
You're kind of.
I think so. Our topic for today's podcast is learning through games. And
イエーイ。
Tai Sensei here is a pro at learning through games.
そうですね。
So we're going to ask him questions.
Yeah,
And if you have
ask
any
me.
questions about learning Japanese through games, drop them in our Laid Back Japanese podcast chat or our stream chat. Or wait,
Yeah.
Twitch chat.
Twitch chat. We also have YouTube chat going too. So yeah,
Ay.
any of the 3 chats that are currently running right now, feel free to drop us any questions. We'll talk about, like, I have a lot of, like, it'll be a lot of mindset stuff today. So Chie, probably gonna have to rely on you to keep the Japanese flow incoming.
Okay, I'm just gonna be
But
saying
yeah.
Japanese things.
Yeah. But I think hopefully it'll be really helpful, because I've been just playing video games in Japanese for so long. It's like my main exposure. Yeah.
I think you have a native game list going, right?
Like barely going. Like I've been wanting to do it, but it's just so much, like organizing it has been really difficult, because I want it to be something that people can sort through on their own. So like I started making it in Notion, and then I realized like I can share the link in Notion, but everyone has to sort by the same values, basically, like whatever value I choose, because you need like permission to edit it if you change the sorting method. So it's like, okay, Notion might not be the best way to make this list. So I paused it for the moment. That was pretty sad. But
yeah, well, we're going to jump into our podcast, but while we're in the podcast mood, when we're actually recording, we won't be paying attention to the chat, since we are incapable of looking at chat and keeping a conversation going.
I don't have fluid. That many brains. Yeah.
Yeah. So while we're chatting, we'll kind of chat for maybe 10 to 15 minutes, and then look at the chats, the text chats. And if there were any questions or comments, then we'll read them then. And then we'll do another 15 or so minutes of actual recording. And then at the end, we'll just come back again and read any questions that you may have.
はい。そうです。All right.
So yeah, while we're talking and doing the first part of our podcast, let us know if you have any games that you've been playing recently. And if they were in Japanese, but was it hard or not? I need to know. Says Tai Sensei.
And if it was, I actually am really curious if you have been playing a game that's been really difficult or easy. If you're going through Native Shark, what level of Native Shark you're at right now? Because that's like a good reference. Yeah. All right.
では、参りましょうか。
参りましょう。All right.
All right. Hello and welcome. 皆さん、こんにちは。
おはようございます。
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 Yeah, so today we'll be relaxing to the topic of game.
ゲームだね。
ゲームだね。最近ゲームした？
いつもゲームしてるよ。最近って何？
そっか。そっか。
いつもしてる。知恵は？
私最近ゲームしてないんだ。
してないんだ。
ちょっと悲しいけど。
悲しいね。
しなきゃいけないと思ってるんだけど。
そうだね。僕も思ってる。
いや、思ってる。やってるって言ったじゃん、今。
いや、しなきゃいけないって思ってるって言ってない？
Yeah, I said
agree.
that I should. Oh, okay. You agree that you think that you should play games, even if you are playing games.
I agree that Chie should play games. Chie はしなきゃいけないと思
う。はい。私もそう思います。で、一番好きなゲームは何？
僕の一番好きなゲーム？
What's your favorite game?
いや、あまり考えてないな。多分
ないの？
まあ、あるけど、なんか多すぎて一つだけ選ぶのちょっと大変かも。
なるほど。What's the mood right now? What's your favorite right now?
今のムードは、なんかのゼルダのやつかな。かポケモン。か動物の森か。いや、
多いじゃん。
一つ選べない。
ちょっと
牧場物語とか。
なんかのほほん系が好きだよね、タイは。You like the ones that are a little bit more laid back, I think.
Yeah, のんびりのやつとか好き。 うん。チオは
私は、Hollow Knight. Hollow
Hollow Knight?
Knight. I actually didn't look it up. Is it called Hollow Knight
I think it
in
is
Japanese?
Hollow Knight. I bought it. I haven't
Hollow.
played it yet.
Let's see if
Hollow
it shows
Knight?
up.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hollow
it's
Knight.
spelled with a U. Hollow Knight.
Hollow. Oh, yeah.
Hollow Knight.
Hollow
うん
Knight. うん。
が好
面
きです。
白そう。なんか
めっちゃいいゲー
難しそ
ムです。
う。難しい
Your finger needs to level up with you. Yes.
楽しそう。That sounds
う
good.
ん。
That's
う
awesome.
ん。
Yeah, I bought it,
Your
but I've
brain
never played
knows.
it. うん
Yeah, you should.
うん
今スイッチでもやってるよ、確か。
そうそうそう。スイッチ。
うん。
スイッチで買った。でもやってな
お、
い。
やって。
Yeah. やります。いつか。
はい。
いつかやります。うん。
All right, so we
Eventually.
briefly talked about what our favorite games are,
うん
and Ty said that he couldn't choose because there are too many.
I like too
Can I
many
say?
games. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Right now, current mood, what do you like? And then
Current mood,
what did you
yeah.
list?
I listed Zelda. There's Pokemon, I think I listed too. There's Bokujo Monogatari, which is either Harvest Moon or Story of Seasons, depending on when it came out, because there's like some titling copyright issues or whatever, licensing issues.
面白いね。
Or Animal Crossing, 動物の森.
うん。
So I love 動物の森.
So, which game did you pick up first that you actually played in Japanese?
So the first game I actually ever picked up was Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. So it was on the 3DS, which was so so here's how my studies went, right? My studies, I did 3 months of just learning kanji, which I don't know if I can recommend anymore, but it was a ton of fun for me. I loved it.
Wait, did you do the 97-day kanji
so this
thing?
yeah.
Oh,
But I did 20
痛そう。
kanji a day instead of 22, so it took even longer. I think it was like 105 days or something like that. ちょっと、大変だったけど楽しかった。
お疲れ様です。
ありがとうございます。
お疲れ様です。
はい、
何個漢字あった when you went through it?
2237個かな。
So it took you 100日か。そうか。
Yeah. Yeah, just
100
over
日間かかった。
100 Yeah. So
よく頑張りました。お疲れ様でした。
はい。ありがとうございます。But yeah, so I did that. So it was like only that. And then I started reading a grammar book. And I think a month into my studies of reading that grammar book, I started playing Alpha Sapphire. So it was super early. And getting off of like the truck and all that in the beginning town, it took me like a half hour to read like the first couple of dialogue boxes.
いや、きついよ。いきなり
きつかった。
jumping into games like that.
So
and the language is
yeah.
different, which
It
we will
is.
definitely talk about today.
Yeah,
It's not
we'll
just
definitely talk about it.
Japanese.
ね It's very, very different. But yeah, that was the
うん
first one. But it was fun. I still had fun. And then eventually I gave up reading every dialogue box, which I think is actually super important. You don't have to understand everything at the start, especially. It's just gonna cause you to burn out instead of be helpful. So
Yeah, I think the most important thing right at the beginning, especially, is motivation 保つのが大事。
そうそうそう。すごい大事。Yeah.
うん
I mean, there's no
Motivation is
motivation.
motivation, and 保つ is to hold on to or keep.
Yeah.
のが大事。大事 is very important.
じゃなかったら意味ないね。あんまり。
If you're not having fun, 楽しくなかったらあんまり面白くないし。
そうそうそう。Yeah. But yeah. I think that's one of the most important things is when you play video games. Like, as long as you're doing なんか毎日の普通の勉強をしたら You can do whatever you want in the video games, right? Like even if you
ああ、なる
learn
ほ
like
ど。
one word,
うん。
それでも大丈夫だと思います。
うんうん
Like
うん。
I think that's still like a victory because you still review words you did learn in your studies, right? So even if you're not
う
like
ん
going crazy looking everything up, it's not really a big deal.
So, would you recommend using video games as the sole learning material? ゲーム
うん
オンリーで習っ
ゲームオ
たら
ンリーなんか
どうなる？
文法の本とかネイティブシャークなしで
うん。
という意味い
はい。
やーそれはきついかもそれはきついかもね Like
うん。
you could probably do it, but I think there's going to be a lot of holes in your Japanese for a really long time, you know?
うん。
And then that's not going to be fun. Like, for example, I tried to learn like Japanese from anime too, and I ended up
う
like
ん。
always pausing the anime and I was just not enjoying. I wasn't watching any of the anime. I was just trying to only study. It wasn't fun, so I stopped.
うん。
So if you did the same thing
楽
with
しく
video
ないね。
games, 多分面
うん。
白くないね。
そうだね。
Yeah.
で、言葉しばら、ブレことら、ことら、言葉調べるとき、どんな方法でする？ When you search for words, what do you do?
そうだね。Usually, I'll write out the word. If it's in like if it's got hiragana, then it's pretty easy. And then just type it into like jisho.org. Or eventually, Native Shark will have its own dictionary. Hopefully soon. I don't know when. Yeah, soon TM, soon TM. And you can just type it into there, and then it'll break down words for you. It'll break depending on the grammar point. It'll also like help break down the grammar point.
うん。
But if there's like 漢字で振り仮名ついてない漢字だったら I will actually like I'll take my phone and I'll get a picture,
うん。
Google Translate, and like the
う
camera
ん。
input, and then I'll.
It's actually really good.
It's really
I'm
good.
trying to find the
Yeah,
app right now.
yeah.
I
For
might click
most
that.
text, it's really really good. Google Honyaku. So right now I have a bunch of Korean on mine because I'm translating Korean
Oh,
to
hey.
Japanese.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so like you just do kamera nyuryoku, and then you hit scan, and then you just take a picture, and then it lets
うん。
you copy and paste that Japanese that it reads. So you take that copy and paste and put it in jisho.org.
It's actually really accurate. I don't,
hmm
yeah, the algorithm is kind of amazing that it can
Yeah.
read
Sometimes it
that
gets
much
like,
Japanese.
yeah, it's really great. Sometimes it gets like a random kana wrong, like because the picture wasn't clear or
うんうん。
something. So it is, you do want to like double check and double read everything. But
Yeah. My
yeah.
favorite one, because I am, you know, I have knowledge of kanji and stuff because I'm kind
hmm
of Japanese.
Kind
I
of.
use the written one.
Yeah.
That's also fun too.
Yeah, writing.
You can draw the kanjis. Mm.
Uh, that can be more difficult if you're especially like a beginner. But I think like
Exactly,
intermediate and
yeah.
advanced, it's also pretty helpful if it's like something quick and you know how to write it.
Mm.
Well,
And
that
it
like
kind of
it's
makes you
stroke
feel
order.
cool
It
when you're
does.
writing it.
I agree. It
Yeah.
does make me feel cool when I write. But that's a big reason I pay attention to the kanji strokes when I'm doing Native Shark is like what the stroke order is and how many strokes each radical has. Because if you like do an extra stroke, the system will get really confused and then you won't be able to find it. So
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's like you need to know every single one, but it is nice to know the basic ones that,
Mm-hmm.
like maybe the radicals and stuff like that, kind of
Yeah,
how they work,
I agree.
but you don't have to
It
stress over them for sure.
そうですね.
Mm.
Yeah. There's also radical input, which if you know like the basic stroke numbers, not even the order, like if you know like there's 3 strokes for like the finger kanji radical,
Mm.
then like you'll be able to find it under the 3 section and it's really quick, right? Or like the rice field, like
Wait,
one,
where?
2, 3, 4, 5. You know, okay, well that's 5. So when we go into the radical search, and then it's like
どこ？
5. なんか辞書に、
あ、そうなの？知らなかっ
うん、
た。
Yeah, if you hit like at the so there's the search box 検索のやつあるじゃん。で、左側になんか draw とか radicals と voice がある。だから radicals クリックしたら then there's like all the one stroke kanji radicals, the two stroke, three stroke, and then there's like all these boxes of just yeah. So if you don't have a ton of confidence, then like that's all of the radicals basically that you would need to work with. So if you have like if you know, oh, it's probably maybe it's three strokes, just look in three strokes. Oh, maybe it's four. All right, then four. なんか最初はちょっとやりづらいんだけど、なんか慣れたらすごい簡単だと思います。なんか簡単、コツ掴んでくると思う。You get the hang of it. 慣れる。So there's a couple of options, even if you're reading kanji you don't know how to read. はい。
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 I think that's a good place to go check out our chats for a second.
Okay. Chat, hello. Hello, chat. It's been 久しぶり。久しぶりです。
お久しぶりです。
Yeah.
Japanese voices, but English subtitles.
I do that for anime. But I don't do it for games. Because I feel like there's a lot of reading practice. Yeah. A lot of games will do that. Especially if they're like made in Japan and they know their audience wants the Japanese voices, because we just like the Japanese voices better. Let's just be just be honest.
Yep. Yep.
So like, yeah, people will definitely do Japanese audio and then English gameplay. That's relatively common, especially with games like Persona 5 and stuff like that. Genshin Impact.
The names get localized?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
Pokemon ね。Pokemon はわかるよ。
Yeah,
I didn't know others did that.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense.
Right. Yeah. They usually will change the names. Or like sometimes they'll just be like really niteru.
Tatorujiko-san, I also did the whole RTK one in a few months. お疲れ様です。
お疲れ様です。お疲れ様です。Yeah. I don't really recommend it to people. Like if you don't enjoy it, don't do it. And like now with a Native Shark system, you don't have to. But especially if you're like studying without Native Shark, like on your own or whatever. I didn't have another choice back then. So I did it. And it was fun. And I enjoyed it. But I don't think it was necessarily like peak efficiency or maybe very good for sanity.
But yeah, the way Native Shark introduces them is if it's common, if it's a common word, it will show up in lessons. And so it kind of just shows up as vocabulary, and that's how you learn all the kanjis, is just incorporated into everyday life instead of learn 35 of the ones that have this gomben, the one with you, the kanji for say.
Yeah.
Learn all of them at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was and honestly, like I don't remember, and I think like about honestly like less than a year in, I forgot literally all of my RTK radicals, like names and all my mnemonics. They weren't helpful for me.
You don't remember your space
I don't remember.
houses?
I don't remember
whatever they were called.
No. Oh, I remember maybe like the really super basic ones. Like maybe I have like 5 left in my memory total. Because now it's just attached to vocabulary, which is how we teach it, right?
Yeah.
Like that's how it's actually helpful. That's how you actually know the kanji, right? Knowing some random English thing that someone assigned to it that no Japanese person will know and no one else might know because they did a different kanji system or something. It's not actually learning the kanji. It's making you not afraid to see kanji you're not familiar with. That's really what the system does. And it's really great for that. But it doesn't actually teach you the kanji, you know?
I actually think it's really interesting. I'll keep this quick because I don't know if it's completely related, but as a Japanese person going through Japanese schools, they also taught it like, this is a simple kanji that shows up, but they never really taught that kanjis really had like meaning picture. That
Yeah.
wasn't really engraved. And watching Caleb go through learning kanji, where it's like this kanji means this image thing that's like multiple words of English, actually
Hmm.
helped me like kanji better.
Yeah.
But I think that is kind of how Native Shark approaches it. It's like
Hmm.
it's a thought. It's not
Right.
assigned an English word. So
Yeah. Well, when Caleb explains it, he often equates them to emojis, right? Emojis,
mhm.
where it's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like
yeah.
if you see like a peace sign, what does that mean? And we all know what it
Mhm.
means, but like, is there what does it actually mean, right? We see a smiley face. What
Mm.
does that mean? It means something, but it
Yeah.
means nothing kind of at the same time, right? It's not like a word.
Mm.
That's exactly like really what a kanji is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Boo, we will talk
Ulu-san.
about what games we
Yeah,
can
I was
learn to
gonna
play
say,
Japanese. That's next. So,
we will just jump right in if no
yeah.
one has any more questions with that question. So,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, what games can you play to learn Japanese?
先生言われるとちょっと慣
今日
れて
は大
ないから
河先生で、私先生じゃない。
そっか。このエピ
うん。
ソードだとね。このエピソードだ
うん。
けだと。
はい。
But yeah, I think so. I think there's a really great list of games to play with. And I'm glad we're doing this episode because finally I can say some. So, Pokemon, Pokemon is great for this. Um, personally, it's not perfect. It's not perfect, but it is really good because the games are everyone. If you know how to play is there is なんかポケモン知らない人いる？なんかポケモンゲームやらないlike やり方知らない人 is there anyone who's like
Like,
actually never played Pokemon
we
before,
can't
right?
we can't assume that every single
All
person
right.
in this world has played Pokemon.
Sadly, you're right. But
Yes.
like most people know how to play Pokemon, right? And it's really
Mm.
easy and it's got this popular I think for a reason. It's pretty easy to play. So, with that said, that means the only like new change thing, like the new change is the language itself. So you know how to play the game, so you're only
Mm.
fighting the new language. So that makes it a lot easier. Um
So you're saying like
mhm.
if you already have a game that you've played through, maybe you could use that,
Yes. I
change
think
the
that
language.
is I think that's actually like the best way. Rather than looking
Mm.
online for like some game recommendations of what the best game to learn with is, what game do you love that you would want to play again and you know how to play like perfectly? Play that game. That's the best game.
Mm.
And then there's other recommendations. They're good. But especially for beginners, I like to recommend games you've already played in English. I think those are actually the
Mm.
best. Hmm.
I think the only thing that I would add to that is if you want to go for a game that will make you sound natural,
Hmm.
leaning towards like everyday life type of games will do
Hmm.
that slightly better than games that are aggressive or adventurous that has more endings that are different or
そうです
demeanors that
ね。
are not the real world,
Yeah,
manners of normal people every day.
that's very true.
But yeah,
I
for
agree.
sure.
Hmm. Yeah. Well,
So,
with どのゲームでもちょっと不自然な言語入ってるんだよね。
yeah, すべて入ってると思います。
すべて
I
入って
think
るね。
that's where you can say like everything.
Yeah,
Nothing is excluded there.
yeah. But I
Mm.
agree. Like, for example, like if you play Final Fantasy, you're not gonna have as much natural language in there as like, say, Animal Crossing, right? And even Animal Crossing has its weird
Ah,
kuchikuse.
Animal Crossing. Wait.
But Animal Crossing's overall, it's really great. It's just the kuchikuse. As long as you know about the kuchikuse, it's actually like really great. Do you disagree?
Or I think that's hard because some characters are like that, but other characters
Mm.
like they'll say, they'll talk kind of in that inaka way, and
Mm.
that's not,
でもそれでも
normal
勉強
casual
にいい
Japanese.
じゃん。勉
まあ、それ
強にいい。
は、そうね。
うん。
そうね。
そうそうそう。なんかいろんな喋り方経験するのも大事だと思
それは言えてる。 I
Mm.
agree with you there.
So it's like
Do
as long as
you
you realize what bang or like inakapoe, as long as you realize that they're speaking that way, it's okay.
mm,
You know?
are there any other like 気をつけなきゃいけないポイントとか
Mm.
specific specific examples?
Yes. Uh,
Specific. はい。
I actually have it written in the next part too. If a little bit
はい。
scroll down. Height. Um, like additions like ze or zo at the end of words. People don't usually say those.
うん。
Um, so like, what's a sentence we could have ze or zo on? Je.
バイクで行くぜ。
Bike de ze. Right. So yeah, we're going by
I'm gonna
bike.
go on a bike.
Uh,
Yeah.
a motorbike. But
うん。
that ze, it we can use it, but it sounds not like something we would say normally all the time, right? It sounds kind of cool, but also like a sarcastic cool almost.
Yeah, that's also a good point though, because Ty and I usually talk in some weird form of Japanese if we're not just discussing, work things or whatnot.
Hmm.
But we'll add endings to be sarcastic or funny about some things on
So this
purpose.
is a.
And it's fun to know. Yeah. It's fun to know these meanings, or sorry, endings and things
Hmm.
so that you can, kind of play off of each other.
Yeah, I agree. But we do want to be careful about using them with people we don't know very well or like in situations we don't really know. So
Mhm.
yeah, ze, zo. And then there's also like other words like I noticed in games they'll say words for you a lot. So like omae, like not really. So first off, we basically never say any words for you in Japanese. And then in games they say them and they're the rude versions. So it's like a bunch of things that are just piled on. So omae is like pretty rude you. Ne.
Yeah, I've had people say to me, like, oh my, like not knowing that that was
Mm.
happening. And I know
Yeah.
that, from a learner's perspective, that that does happen. So I just kind of went with it.
Yeah.
But it just catches you off guard as a Japanese person that
Yeah,
that
it
is
does.
happening to you because you have no idea who this
Like,
person
huh?
is.
Right.
Hmm?
Ah,
Eh?
that
Ah,
reminds
okay.
me. Ne.
みたいな。うん。
Yeah. Like there
どうし
was
た
some like a I've seen a learner message me before. And it's like obviously is a learner, right? I mean, I've made this mistake
ん
before, so it's okay. But like somebody has messaged me like they were using formal Japanese with me. And then they messaged me like kimi wa something wherever. Kimi wa doko shushin or something like that.
う
And it's
ん
like there's two points of correction we could take there, right? First off, we don't use you there. So doko shushin, right? Where are you from? Where were you
う
born?
ん
Is the correct part of that sentence. We don't need any word for you there. But the word
う
for
ん
you that they chose, kimi, is not something you say to a stranger. If you say
うん
you to a stranger, maybe you'll say anata, like
う
maybe.
ん
But as much as you can, just avoid the word for you.
Yeah.
So yeah, but you'll see that in video games all the time. People will call you kimi in video games all
う
the
ん
time. So it feels normal, but it's not.
うん
ね.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
気をつけないといけないね.
はい、気をつけてください。
And
XB さん says, I have never played Pokemon.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Okay, wait. If someone had to pick one Pokemon to play,
Mm.
in general, not just for
Yeah.
learning, どれが一番いいと思う？
ポケモン不思議のダンジョンかも。だからメインゲームじゃ
不思
ないね。
議のダンジョン？
うん。It's a spin-off. I think spin-offs are actually better for learning Japanese, but even like as a general thing, like Pokemon, you've played one Pokemon in the main series, you kind of played them all, to be honest. So you can pick any. My favorite is Heart Gold and Soul Silver. So, Heart Gold と
私は
Soul Silver.
グリーンリーフ。I think that was
Green
like
Leaf.
one of the original
Mm.
ones.
Yeah, that's a remake of the original. Mm.
うん。
それも面白かったね。
うん。
But yeah, as playing just kind of those are too. But 日本語勉強のためだったら、不思議のダンジョン like on the Switch,
う
there's a
ん。
remake on the Switch. There's like 振り仮名ついてる and like you don't have to understand the story to play the game. So you can try to understand the story and it's generally pretty easy. And it's easy to look up words because you have the 振り仮名. And then yeah, you get to like not know how to play, like there's no losing the game if you don't understand the story, which is huge on I think on games like that.
うん。
うん。
スイッチもさ、スクリーンショットみたいなのできるよね。
そ
You
うそうそう
can
そ
screen
う。
capture.
ね。Yeah, I've actually
うん。
used that when I was playing Breath of the Wild. During the cutscenes, I would screen
うん
capture
うん。
everything and then read them all individually later.
うん。ケルブもやってたよ。
It's actually really helpful. I love studying on the Switch because of that. So, yeah, because games with cutscenes, you just get lost. But with the Switch, you can screenshot.
うん。
So yeah,
I
Pokemon.
actually have a hard time playing Japanese games that are kind of set in like an extreme world.
Mm.
So not not the cutesy ones. The cutesy ones are usually easier. But
Mm-hmm.
like 例えば like Destiny 2, I think I switched it into
Mm-hmm.
English ones. Or sorry, Japanese ones.
Uh-huh.
And they have their specific language and lore that goes along with the world. And those things would be in kanji. I was like, I
難しい。
don't know how to read this.
難
What's
しい。
going on here? 難しかっ
Yeah.
た。
Usually any computer like online game where it's like you're dealing with like live action and also you're like fighting and like trying to survive with other players and also trying to struggle with the
うん。
language, I generally don't recommend those because they're really difficult.
うん。
So like for me,
難しいね。
Apex, nah. I've played Apex for like 200 hours in English, then I swapped it to Japanese. And that was okay because I'm
一
used to
番な
what
ん
all the
か
people.
びっくりしたところとかはあった？ Do you have anything that made you びっくり the most? Switching
Um,
it from English to Japanese for Apex?
びっくりというか like I did struggle with reading all the katakana very quickly. Because in Apex, you have to
Oh.
be fast if you want to stay
う
alive,
ん。
right? So, like, trying to
う
read the
ん。
katakana for all the attachments, I was like, what? Eh?
カタカナ多いのめっちゃすごい。なんか、
すごいね。
めっちゃ読みにくいよね。
うん。
読みにくいね。
読みにくい。I think katakana is harder to read than kanji if I'm doing it quickly, personally speaking.
Yeah, if everything is written in hiragana and or katakana, which usually doesn't happen in real life, it's actually
Mm-hmm.
harder than knowing, taking the time and learning the kanjis as they
Mm.
come.
Nah, it really is. But yeah, and
I've
then
seen I've seen
mm,
people kind of struggle through where the words break up if you're presented with only hiragana. Like children's
yeah,
book is actually bad
I agree.
examples of learning from when you're trying to learn Japanese when you're an adult, I
Mm,
think, because there's no kanjis in it and
yeah,
you don't know where to kukuru words to
wakeru,
break up
yeah.
words.
That's the thing is with children books, the children already the kid knows the language, right? So they know
Mm.
the words, but us adults we don't know the words. That's why like that's why I actually recommended the spin-off instead of the main series because the main series it's either only kanji or only kana. There's no furigana on the main series stuff. So it's like that's why it's not too great to learn with, but it's also okay to learn with because it's Pokemon and you can still get some exposure. It's fine, you know? But
Mm.
that's why I like
Some
other
games
games.
have hiragana written all in hiragana, but have
Mm.
spaces in the words. Have you
Yada.
seen that?
Yeah, that's Pokemon. Pokemon does that when it's
あ、
only
ポケモ
kana.
ンやってる？うん、yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. それがや. It's not normal to
It's not
me.
normal.
It helps a little bit, but it's still not very helpful. Like as far
Mm.
as like your whole holistic studies go, it's not very helpful. But it's nice you learn a few vocab words, I guess. But like other games, I'll just how much time do we have left?
I think we can probably wrap it up.
Okay.
Maybe
So
like
I'll
one or
just
two more points.
I'm just gonna list a few other games that I would recommend. It's actually like all Nintendo, so I'm sorry for people who don't have Nintendo stuff. But I feel like
He's
Nintendo
biased.
is the best. Yeah. Well, for learning, I think it's the best because they have the most like amount of calm stuff. Like if you look at PS4 or Xbox or computer, it's a lot more like violent games and like crazy world games and stuff like that. Nintendo's super relaxed. And for learning, I think relaxed is way better than like these action crawler, violent, weird, crazy fantasy world stuff.
That's
And I think
probably
that's still
fair.
fun too, and I love that. But, for learning. But Bokujo Monogatari, so either Harvest Moon or Story of Seasons. The Switch version has Furigana. The previous versions, I think, only have kanji. But it's like farming. It's relaxed. You get to have conversations that are kind of relaxed with townspeople, and it's just good for learning. And it's okay to not understand everything. Dobutsu no Mori, kind of the same deal. Switch and 3DS versions are my favorite. Switch version can be kind of hard if you're a beginner at the start because there's lots of keigo, so really formal language. But be careful of the kuchiguse. And then Zelda no Densetsu. This one's more for like Chukyusha toka, like intermediate. Like I went through this game when I was just getting ready to pass the N2, and that felt like chodoi. So like maybe N3, N2, or like
Which one?
uh Breath of the Wild.
It's
Breath of the
actually
Wild.
called that.
It's actually called that.
They
I
didn't
love it.
translate it. Yeah. It's
uh,
Breath of the Wild.
mm. But you can honestly like any version is good. Like they just came out with Skyward Sword again, and that's been really fun. That has Furigana. It's all I think all the Zelda games have Furigana. So, get what you can from it, and I think it's really good to study with. Hi. So those are my recommendations. Those probably 4 series, and then any title in the series is going to be good. So, um, oh, Legion Lock のこと知ってる？
はい。ちょっぴっとしてる。
ちょぴっとしてる Okay.
うん。
If you do get any of these games, like you can get them on like if you're in America, like eBay. I think Book Off has an international website too, which is like used games. They'll mail it. Might be more expensive. But Switch, you can go online and like buy it from other stores if you have like a card you can charge with. But like the 3DS, you can't buy a Japanese game and play it on your English 3DS. You have to get a Japanese 3DS and a Japanese game, so it's a little bit harder of a wall to get over. So Switch is probably the easiest. But yeah. So
I remember that. I think Caleb had a bunch of games and I couldn't play them on the 3DS.
Yeah.
これ面白そうこれ面白そうみたいな. Yeah, I couldn't play any of them.
Yeah. The region lock. I don't like region locking, but sadly the 3DS did it, so. But the DS and the Game Boy don't do it. So if you have older games are great to learn with too. I love learning with older games. ごめんね。ちょっと、なんか英語の方が今日のエピソードだとちょっと多いかなと思う。いっぱい喋ってた僕。
But it's also, researching and trying to explain the process too.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
大丈夫だと思うよ。
よかった。
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we shall go into our chats and kind of chat with our community for a little bit.
Yeah.
Before we wrap it up. I usually record myself playing and watching the video later to get what I missed. That is a great way.
That sounds like a fantastic idea. You can buy Switch games from the Japanese store using PayPal. Oh, I thought when I tried using that PayPal, my PayPal was like the US version, so it like didn't let me. But maybe they changed it. I don't know. But it never worked for me that way, sadly.
Yeah, the Switch was kind of weird.
Yeah, it's like semi-region locked. So for me, what I did is I have my Japanese 3DS and that accepts American credit cards. So I would charge my 3DS with an American credit card and it'd be the same account, and then I'd go to my Switch and buy stuff. And now I have a
Oh.
Japanese card because I live in Japan, so it's not a problem anymore. But
Mm.
I had to do that for a very long time.
ファミコン、スーパーファミコン。
Mm.
Apparently, the form, the outside looks different in US sold ones and Japan sold ones. Is that true?
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty different. I think that in general, like almost any game sold in America is just like bigger than the Japanese
え
versions. Yeah,
な
like
ん
here,
で面白いね。
for
Tie with
example,
his tie with his stash.
like the CD is the same, but the size of the case of Custom Robo. Here's the size of the case on the Japanese Custom Robo.
お
It's
ー、
completely different.
面白い。
Yeah. So, and like this is the same exact game, but this one's sold in Japan, this
うん
one's in America, English, and then Japanese, right? So it's completely different. And then on the old Famicom games, the cartridge themselves is like bigger or smaller. So
うん
yeah.
Yeah, I thought the 3DS came out of your pocket.
No,
It
I
looked
have
like
all
it
my
just came out
I
of
have
your
all my
pocket.
stuff just sitting around me because I played games all the time.
うん Doesn't
um,
the Switch store differentiate between American PayPal and Japanese PayPal
I
accounts?
believe it does. It should. Unless they changed it. It did for me, so I had struggles with that. But you can get like you can go like online and buy some codes. There's some websites that are actually reputable that like give you codes. You can just like go online, get a code for the eShop card and then charge your Switch
うん
with that. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Like a gift card code.
Yeah, basically. It's just like a 6000円分、7000円分のカードみたいなやつ。
Got
Mm.
you. Like in-store Genki.
Yeah, just credits for the yeah.
Well,
Uh,
this says Ty, the true gamer, because I think this is referring to you pulling out consoles out of your pocket.
yeah. I just got them everywhere. It's all over here. Yeah. It's fun. I have all my consoles lined up. I have two Wii's because one's American and one's Japanese, so I can play both types of
Oh,
games
yeah.
on it. So GameCube and Wii, because GameCube and Wii are also region locked, so you would need to get a Wii from like eBay or something.
一番好きな
Pokemon.
ゲーム機は What's your favorite console?
I think the
皆さん
3DS.
は
3DS for me. Mm.
私
I
はスイッチかな。
スイッチだね。スイッチが2番目かも。
うん。
But I just have too many good memories of studying with the 3DS because that's like my main console I studied with. So,
うん。Sure.
yeah. And I mean, ほら見てください。これ。
見て見て。
見て。
Everyone, do you see this? I
It's
don't know
my
if everyone
my
can see it.
yeah. Oh, yeah,
It's
on the
plain
it's
in
on the
words.
stream, but it's an Animal Crossing 3DS. And I got it on the day it came out in Japan.
I think I remember that.
Yeah. I remember I had to
なんかめっちゃ
ask
頑張って
Yeah.
買おうとしてたよね。
So. Like I was like I went into a random store in Nagoya because I was in Nagoya that day. And I'm like, hey, is the 3DS out? The new 3DS? He's like, what new 3DS? I'm like, well, there's like a Animal Crossing 3DS out today. He's like, is there? 1 second, I'll go check. And then he's like, oh yeah, here it is. I'm like, yeah, give me that.
What?
They didn't even know it was
Lucky.
out. Yeah.
It was not a true gamer.
Yeah, they were not gamers. Yeah. But oh, one more thing about
Mhm.
playing games. There's going to be some games, especially as you start, they're going to be too difficult. That's okay. Drop them. Just stop playing them if they're not motivating, right? And then in like 3 months, come back and then do the same game. And you're going to be like, oh my God, I'm so much better at Japanese. As long as you just keep studying normally, you're going to feel really great. Like drop it, do a different game, whatever, come back to that game later. I think that's actually really huge for that. That is actually a big motivation boost. And I did that a few times and it was really cool to see.
Yeah.
Mm.
A lot of people mentioned that. Like they tried something like reading a book, novel, or a manga they picked up, or a game. And they're like, it was too hard. I'm so sad.
Yeah.
And then they'll go through some studies. And then they'll say, OMG, I
I'm so
can
much
read.
better.
Or,
Yeah.
you know, I can understand.
It's a really great way to level check yourself. Like revisit
Yeah.
something you've already consumed and see how much easier it is for you. Like I think that's actually one of the best ways, because it's almost impossible to see your progress like day by day, right? But
Mm-hmm.
doing something you experienced a while ago is actually huge.
Mm.
Mm. But yeah.
Yeah. I don't see any other questions.
Yeah, I think that's everything. Does anyone have any final questions before we wrap up for today? I
Did you
think
write
hopefully.
your hitsumo
Ah,
while we wait?
わ。
わ。
今書きます。
はい、書いてください。Ty is writing his 今日の質問です for today. I wrote mine. I did my homework.
You did your homework. See, that's the
Yes.
problem. I never really do my homework. Yeah.
We usually end our podcast with a question from Ty and then a statement from Chie. So, Ty did write his for today. I try to use
say
things that were mentioned in
yeah.
our podcast.
I try to say, or like I could say 一番好きなゲームは何ですか? But that feels bland. Okay, maybe like the one that you found the most useful that was studying. Okay, I understand. No, I get it. Okay. I don't know how to say it in Japanese. 1 second.
Taotorojiko-san says, first time I tried to watch anime with JP subtitles, I felt so lost, but after some time I get used to it. Nowadays I can keep up with most stuff, just occasionally stopping to look up a word. How do you look up words if you're still
anime?
there? Well, I'm
him?
asking Taotorojiko-san. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good feeling. I want to experience this feeling in Korean.
Yeah.
I'm gonna learn it and
do
then
it.
Go watch some Korean drama.
I have been
like, oh, I understand everything.
ね、やってみて。面白いよ。楽しい。日本、なんか言語を勉強するのってすごい楽しいと思う。日本語の勉強。Alright, how do I express what was your favorite game to play for learning Japanese? Like, how do I express that? 日本語の勉強のための一番好きなゲームは何ですか?
いいんじゃない?
Okay.
There's so many no's, but it works.
I know.
It's grammatically correct. Anjia Lemen-san, how do you even find Japanese subtitles?
Netflix.
Some don't have them. They just flat out just don't. So that's sad times.
Yeah, that is big sad times.
But I think if you can VPN into Japanese Netflix, you can put on Japanese subtitles. And or they usually have, if you're watching things from Japanese into English, they usually have English subtitles.
There's also, I mean, I think Netflix is the only one that will have a consistency that's also legal. Consistently, that's also legal. There's definitely not legal ones, but we're not gonna tell you any of them.
Yes.
I think it's better to support the people who made it anyway, so I like watching things legally to begin with. But lots of the time something else with video games, you can Google like the script. Like if it's like Fire Emblem. Like the Fire Emblem, you can all of that Fire Emblem games are written out, and that's actually what I used a lot of the time, and I put it in flashcards. So Disney Plus has a lot of Japanese language too. I'm subscribed to the Japanese Disney, so I don't know how different it might be. I have to set the audio to English. Oh yeah.
I watched Mandalorian in Japanese, and now he doesn't know how to react when he hears English versions of their voices.
Warera no michi.
Warera no michi.
This is the way, right?
This is the way. This is the way.
Warera no michi.
Oh man.
Yeah. All right. So let's wrap it up with the Kyono.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. But yeah, hopefully everyone, thanks for, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Bloopers days.
Bloopers, there we go. No, that'll be in the actual episode before the bloopers. But But yeah, thanks for listening. I think, well, hopefully everyone feels more confident in learning with games now. I think another cool thing is a lot of this, what we talked about, applies to just everything. You can do this with manga, you can do this with anime, you can do this with books, right? But uh, let's just say goodbye and part with 今日の質問. So, 今日の質問です。
goodbye なんか悲しい。
Goodbye.
I don't think we've ever said
Let's say
goodbye.
じゃね. Let's say じゃね.
Wow,
Jane?
that's interesting.
I don't know. Yeah, it does sound weird. This is the stuff that people get to
You made me
experience from
sad.
live. Like, I know. I'm like, say goodbye. 適当に言ってるよ。適当。
適当に言っちゃったね。
ごめんね。適当に言っちゃった。But yeah, let's wrap up today with 今日の質問. Does that sound? Wrap it up?
はい。OK じゃない。はい。
OK。今日の質問です。日本語の勉強のための一番好きなゲームは何ですか？
何でしょうか？ I actually should try Hollow Knight in 日本語。and see what happens.
会話あるの？会話とか、ダイアログとかある？
ちょぴっとあるよ。There's lore in there and you speak. あるよ。
知らんかった。
NPC。いるよ。
日本語でやってみたい。
私も日本語でやってみようかな。では皆さん、ゲームしながら日本語を習うのであれば、自分が一番好きなゲームが一番です。
さようでございます。
さようでございます。
はい。
皆さん一緒に頑張りましょ
う。頑張りましょ
う。Wait, ちょっと待って。Before we end though.
はい。
ネイティブシャークのマイクラ。
Oh yeah, we have a Minecraft server.
の話をちょっとドロップしましょう。はい。
はい。ドロップしましょうね。
はい。
We have, yeah, it's in the Discord. The sign up link is in the Discord. Basically, you could just like come into the Minecraft channel and let us know, sync your account with the Discord and then Native Shark. So you have to be subscribed to Native Shark, but then you let us know when we can get you into the Minecraft server if you want to play with everyone. It's pretty fun. I haven't played in a little bit. I should soon. I want to.
Yeah, we should. Is there a channel in here that there's like pictures and stuff?
There's a Minecraft.
Because I've seen people make. なんだっけ、新宿駅だっけ Someone's building 新宿駅。
京都駅だと思う。
京都駅。
Yeah. It was so cool. Yeah. So definitely come and check it out.
That was the last time I saw it.
Yeah.
では、if we don't have any more questions, thank you everyone for coming.
Yeah.
And we are here. We usually start about maybe like an hour ago from right now. 3:30-ish p.m. PST.
Or like
so
8
every week.
8 JST. 7:30 JST? About there.
くらい。
はい。
Yeah. So we shall see you next week.
はい。お疲れ様です。